The Supreme Court handed down a decision in a big Fourth Amendment case, and the ruling wasn't very good for the Fourth Amendment. So it revolves around a 2006 arrest. The police got an anonymous tip, allegedly. Again, if it's anonymous, there's no documentation, nothing. Yeah, we got a tip, something. That a guy named Edward Streif was selling drugs. So they proceeded to stop him, question him. They found an outstanding warrant for a traffic violation or some low-level thing, and then searched him and found meth and a drug pipe. So this guy apparently knows a thing or two about the Constitution, and he decided, fuck, I'm going to sue over this. I don't think they didn't have probable cause for a search. That wasn't a reasonable search. So one court sided with the cops. He appealed the decision. The Supreme Court in Utah sided with him and said, no, yeah, you violated his Fourth Amendment rights from unreasonable search and seizure. The way that search came about, it was unconstitutional. So then it went all the way to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court sided with the cops. That's not good. As a few articles on this pointed out, there's one in Slate, there's another one from a local Fox affiliate. This sets up a precedent of a giant loophole for the Fourth Amendment. So Justice Sotomayor went on to explain in her dissent on this, and this is a very stinging dissent. She said, "Do not be soothed by the opinion's technical language. This case allows the police to stop you on the street, demand your identification, and check it for outstanding traffic warrants, even if you are doing nothing wrong. If the officer discovers a warrant for a fine you forgot to pay, courts will now excuse his illegal stop and will admit it into evidence, anything he happens to find by searching you after arresting you on the warrant. Because the Fourth Amendment should prohibit and not permit such misconduct, I dissent." So that's right. Think about the way this unfolds. All the police department has to say now is, I got an anonymous tip. I got an anonymous tip. Do I have any evidence for it? Does that mean anything? No. So they don't even necessarily need to have the anonymous tip. They could just say, hey, I had an anonymous tip. Then they could stop you. Then they could run your record. They find something menial and irrelevant, like, oh, you had a traffic stop or a traffic ticket that's outstanding. And then they could say, empty your pockets. I'm going to search through all this. Well, that's the whole point of the Fourth Amendment, is to avoid nonsense like that. That chain of events, at no point in that chain of events was there something that was legitimate enough to allow a cop to search through everything that's on you. That would be an unreasonable search and seizure. But nonetheless, the Supreme Court sided with the police. Not a good day for the Fourth Amendment. Look, I've argued previously, it's almost like the Fourth Amendment is gone. Because look at what the NSA does. You want to talk about unreasonable search and seizure, everything, all of your metadata is stored. All of your metadata in your phone. Are you part of a terrorism investigation? No. Did the government get a specific warrant describing the specific persons and things to be searched? No. But all your stuff is stored. So this is the police state. This is, Orwell 101. We're inching towards this, where there's no such thing as privacy anymore, and we have a government that's gleefully giving away our rights as, the days go by here. This is terrible, and we should all oppose it, and we all need to understand the process matters, man. The steps that you go through. Being a free citizen in a free country means the opposite of what they think it means. And remember, this is specifically going to be used, as it almost always is, to target minorities more than anybody else. Look at what happened in Ferguson. They say that at 16,000 out of 21,000 residents had some sort of outstanding warrant. Many of them for minor things. Hey, fucking jaywalking, or whatever the fuck, traffic violations, you name it. So that means that as a result of this decision, all any officer has to do, stop somebody on the street, ask for identification, or say, hey, I got an anonymous tip. You're up to no good. And then they could search them. And then they could, say, oh, look, you had a little bit of weed on you. Now you're going to jail. This just exacerbates the police state that we're living in and puts it in hyperdrive and allows the cops to be an occupying force, an occupying army who can search anyone for any reason at all and then take action if you happen to be doing something illegal, which, by the way, shouldn't even fucking be illegal to have weed on you. So It's preposterous, and we're giving more and more power to the state, and we got to reverse this and go in the opposite direction. Because at what point do we officially declare that liberty and freedom is dead? Have we already passed it?